It's time for another journal. Hi, it's Laura from Hyperstamper, and I have a custom journal here. I had a wonderful lady ask me for an antique book cover with the embossed flowers on it. Now, this one is from 1882. And it's the Jack Halliday. It's a Grassmarket Hero. This is a very classic old book. The spine is wonderful. These colorful flowers. The back has a tiny little emblem from the publisher. And the color is still there. It's a little faded here, but the flowers are still nice and vibrant. I love it. I added some vintage beads and ribbon to sort of match the flowers, and just did a bit of trim around the sides and the top just to give it a bump up, some corner protectors. And inside is the original book card from the Methodist Church, and they would have kept this in their church library. There's the first page there. It's so wonderful to see these books from the 1800s. Look at this beautiful little illustration. I guess that is Jack Halliday. And let's take a look through this book. I have quite a few of the original pages tucked inside. Just another piece of antique scrapbook page here from a children's workbook. Here's a vintage button with mother and pearl inlay on it, which is very unusual in the triangle shape there. This is a little piece of cross stitch, vintage, and here is a photograph from the 1930s. Look at these wonderful people at the beach, aren't they? Look at the hairdos and the outfits. I just love it. I love it so much. That's a fun little keepsake there. Everything in here is authentic. Antique and vintage ephemera. I just put a few blank pages in that I hand stamped for extra journaling space. Here's a page from the Beacon Lodge Officer's Roll Book. And these ones are blank, hard to find blank, but they're there. And then some wonderful young folks at home, sort of like a home ec book. Fashion pages here. And then I made this pocket out of a bit of crochet. Added a little journaling tag here. Some vintage trim. And back here is a wonderful vintage recipe book. This is for peach parfait and different kinds of pies. This woman loves all things history and cats and dogs, so I tried to put those in as well. You can ask for anything in a custom journal. If I have it, I will happily include it. Sorry, this one went here, so we'll put that back in. And then this is a vintage bird paste, and this is the common loon, which we have lots of in Canada, and it's a Canadian customer, so I was happy to include some Canadian things in here too. You see up here, Pearl Shop from the 50s, a beautiful antique music sheet, and more of these pages from the flip sides. And look at this. This is from 1903. It was a book all about dogs. It's a journal from at least a year ago, but I included this little terrier in there. More sewing pages. This is some vintage upholstery fabric, and underneath is an antique book page for journaling. Little journaling spot here, and this is a wonderful plate, and it has cats and dogs on it, so I thought that was really fun. You can journal on the back, and there's another dog back there. And over here is another collected dog story page, and she likes flowers, so I put some pressed hydrangeas on there with some Canadian birch bark. And down here in this little teeny tiny spot is a little vintage playing card with kittens on it. She likes cats. This is a really cool page from the Theater Arts magazine. This is the back cover. Is that neat? And then in here I've got a receipt from 1950s for dairy products purchased. More dog pages here. Antique children's book page there. Play and laughter. I love that. Here is another sewing page here. And how about this vintage playing card? It's not antique, but it is definitely vintage. Just really whimsical. Cats getting dressed up in costumes. And this is a Canadian piece here. And I believe that she will love this because it has our famous Hudson Bay point blankets. This is from the 40s. And then also SO. I think you have SO in the States as well, but I just thought she'd really get a kick out of that. She likes anything history. So here is a check from the Royal Bank of Canada from the 50s. And then here is a page. She also likes fairies and elves. So this is from the Unknown Fairies of Canada book. Look at that lovely image. Isn't that gorgeous? And I have some extra little goodies I'm going to include in her package when I send it out. She loves, I love botanicals. And who doesn't? Another children's book page here. Wonderful hard fuzzy page. She's going to get a kick out of these 1001 household hints. A vintage bird book page here clipped on. And then this came from that 1950s postage stamp collector's book. And these are somebody who collected some Canadian stamps. So I pulled that page out for her as well. It's a nice vintage Canadian stamps. I'll just put that up for now so I don't fight with it. And oh, this is where I'm going to tuck in the elves. I just have to go and find them. I have a whole folder full of fairy and elf and mermaid ephemera for another client of mine who I adore. And here is just a bank note from the 20s. Another fun children's book page, all nature there. And here's another fairy page. And I put some antique paper on the back of that so she could journal on there. This is a wonderful singing book. And that is from Ontario, Canada, a student's book. Another wonderful children's book page. And here is a page from this book, Jock Halliday. Some nice blank pages there and some lovely imagery for extra journaling. And I got some vintage trim down here. And this is really cool. So this is Journal. It's on a hinge. And then this tag here, I just went to town. I've got some vintage stamps in here. I've got a really fun little craft ad from a magazine. I've got a matchbook notebook here. So when you open this up, sorry, let me put that down. You get all kinds of little sheets in there to journal on. A little secret spot there. And that's all tucked into this tag, which is tucked into this pocket here. And then in this pocket, I have another wonderful journaling tag that I made and stamped with an inkwell and feather. Isn't that neat? An American Highways road map page from 1955. And that brings us to the end. So I hope she loves it. I loved making it. I love doing customs. If you'd like one, message me below, and you can visit hyperstamper.etsy.com to see more of my journals. Thanks for visiting.